Excited to have Dr. Dan join us right now from Sioux Falls Hypnosis. Dr. Dan, how are you?
I'm very good, sir. How are you?
I'm fantastic. And we're going to talk today about a way for people to be a little more successful at work, which is kind of a nice thing.
You want a secret, do you?
Yeah, we're looking for secrets today. And we had a chance to chat just a little bit ahead of time. And one of the things is funny because like we didn't compare notes ahead of time at all about this, but this is literally a quote that I have in my office.
Okay.
And I think it fits perfectly with what we're going to talk about today.
Okay.
It says, "It isn't what I do, but how I do it. It isn't what I say, but how I say it, and how I look when I do it and say it." When I saw this little quote, I copied it, and it's printed out on a little piece of paper, and I usually have it hanging right up here on my monitor, because so many times you can say, "Have a nice day." Like, is that what I really mean?
Right.
Like, it's what you say is one thing, but how you say it and how you look when you say it, you know, and that's something that I try to keep in mind because sometimes humor doesn't translate.
Not always.
I've been accused of, I'll have somebody say, "I couldn't believe you said such and such." Yeah. I'm like, "Well, I was kidding." And I'm like, "Well, it didn't sound like you were kidding." I'm like, "How do I?" There is no sarcasm font, So, but that's why I thought this is such an important thing. And in the workplace, this matters a lot, doesn't it?
Right. And, in the way I frame that, there's a couple of different ways to look at it. But what I always tell people is, okay, so whatever aspect of business you're in, maybe you're selling something, maybe you're in a customer service end, a management end, whatever, you're trying to get other human beings to engage in whatever you want them to engage in. And so the idea is people do not want to do what you want them to do. They do not want to buy what you want them to buy. They do not want to think the way you want them to think unless they want to feel how you feel.
Yeah.
That's the thing. What you're actually, if you're in business, what you're actually selling, or what you're actually managing or what you're actually doing is your mood. That's what you're selling.
Absolutely.
Your vibe. And the thing about that is, and this is a real reality that I don't think people recognize, is when we're dealing with people, when we're managing people, when we're caring for people, when we're supporting people, when we're selling to people, whatever you might be doing, you have to be very aware of your mood and how you feel inside, because however you're feeling, they're picking up on it.
Yeah.
And they do not want to follow you and work with you and do with you unless they want to feel how you feel.
Exactly.
That's actually what you're selling is your mood.
Exactly. And how you treat people around you makes a big difference in how they feel about you.
And so I always tell people this is one of the reasons why, if you're not okay, if you're a little bit dysregulated, if you're having a bad day, if your confidence isn't there, if you're struggling with something, you really do need to get a hold of that.
Yeah.
It's not invisible to the people you're working with. Consciously or unconsciously, they're reading this on you.
Yeah.
And it's a problem for you because, people will go to work and, I don't know why it didn't go well today. And I don't know why, usually this works or usually this person has a different attitude. Well, very likely they were reading you and picking up something and then being conflicted about that, and that interfered with the normal flow of things. Again, in order to be good at what you do, whatever it is business-wise, it's about your mood.
It is.
And you have to be aware of it. And if you've got issues, you need to get on it and resolve it.
Yeah.
But the other thing is to be able to control that, to decide what your mood is when you get up every day. And people who are really good salespeople, you've met them.
Yeah.
Good managers, I'm sure you've met them too.
Oh, yeah.
Good customer service people, their mood is always good.
Yeah. Or at least it seems to be.
Yes. or they have the able to Jedi mind trick that, one of the two. But whatever it is, it's useful.
Yeah.
And when you're with them, it's just comforting and nice and pleasant and positive. And it's not confused or messy or whatever the case is, however you might read that. They're wonderful to be around, and it's just comfortable to be there. And before long, you're engaged with them, and whatever the project is that's supposed to be happening is just simply unfolding.
Yeah.
Why? Because you want to be with them. You want to be what they feel. You want to be who they are. And that's really the responsibility of all of us when we get up in the morning to go out and do what we do, is to take a long, hard look at your mood and manage that.
About 20 years ago, I worked at a radio station in Pella, Iowa, so a little town by Des Moines. And my manager there used a term that I'd never heard of before. But he described me. He said, you do a really good job. If you believe in what you're doing, because there were some promotions that we would be out talking to people about that I'm like, I don't even know what this is. But then the ones that I really liked, I did really well. He goes, it's because you have contagious enthusiasm. And I'm like, what? I have what? Like, do I need to go to a doctor? He goes, no, if you're excited about something, you get other people excited about it. Yeah. And he said, so you need to find a way to get excited about these things.
Right.
And I realized that when that happened, I'm like, I guess I've always been that way. I didn't realize it, but like if it's something that I think is cool, I can't help but tell people. I'm like, I'm gonna tell everybody how cool it is. But if it's something I don't think is cool, I'm either not going to talk about it, or if it does get brought up, I'm like, it's probably okay.
Yeah, and it's a learning you had when you were younger. And when I'm excited about something, I want to present that excitement because I know I've learned my experiences is that other people respond to that, and then you simply capitalized on that, and that's a wonderful way to view that.
Yeah,
whatever you're feeling, you want it to be such a wonderful thing that it is contagious. If it's not, and you're asking yourself, why didn't the day go well? Why didn't this work? It's probably because of you.
Is there something people can do if there's somebody listening right now that's going, I probably need some help with this?
So good question. So how do I do this then? How do I manage my mood? Okay. Now what we'll do is I'll give you a couple of different ways today.
All right.
And the first one is what I want you to do. And for those of you who are listening out there, just take a second and think of something that you love to do. Okay. Think of something that you're good at. Picture it in your head. So and I'll use my fellow here as an example. So can you think of something that you're good at?
Very few things. But
love,
yes.
that you just love, something that you love doing.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Okay.
Now what I want you to do is see yourself doing that, but maybe the last time you did it.
Okay.
Kind of picture it in your head and hear it as well. So see it and hear it, and then notice how it feels.
Yeah.
Can you feel that?
I can.
Now, take a breath, make it bigger. Make that feeling bigger. See yourself doing it. Make the picture big and bright. Like, close your eyes. Make sure you can see nothing but that picture. Hear it loud, clear, and then feel those feelings. So see it, hear it, and feel it.
Yeah.
See it, hear it. And then with every breath, make it bigger. Yeah. There you go.
Don't do this while driving, people.
Don't do this while driving. Yeah. It's a good advice. Good advice. And so can you feel that feeling?
Yeah.
All right. Now just take a second and put a big smile on your face.
All right.
Just that's it. Big smile. Feel it. Let your whole face, the whole face smiles from ear to ear. There you go. Okay. Now take a second. Now open your eyes. Move your head around a little bit. All right. Now, picture something, I don't know, maybe it's something you have to do today that maybe you don't feel a contagious amount of enthusiasm about.
Yeah.
Okay? So close your eyes. Okay. Picture yourself doing that. Okay? Whatever it is. You see, Now I want you to smile. Smile ear to ear, just like you did before. Now see yourself do it that way.
Okay.
See yourself smiling. Smile ear to ear. Now watch yourself go through it, but make sure you're really smiling as you see yourself doing it in your head. Really put that smile on your face as you see yourself do it. Now see yourself feel the way you felt before. Nice. Whatever it is you're doing, but you're feeling that feeling now. Now watch yourself go through it all the way to the end. Can you see it?
Yeah.
And then sort of stop it like it's a movie.
All right.
Rewind it to the beginning.
Yeah.
Close your eyes again.
All right.
Now, big smile on your face. See it? Feel it? Can you feel it?
I can.
Now, watch yourself go through that whole thing again. But see yourself do it easily, effortlessly.
Yeah.
See yourself, you're smiling, you're feeling good. Can you see it kind of going differently?
Absolutely.
At least comfortably, easily? Yeah. That's right.
I love that.
So the idea here is that you get to control your mood.
Nice.
Now, most people, we've all heard that. You get to decide how you feel about stuff.
Yeah.
But deep down inside, a lot of us don't want to believe that.
Oh, yeah.
Because it makes us responsible for things we really don't want to be responsible for. And it's much easier for us to say, well, I feel this way because this happened and this happened. And those things are really real. I feel this way because so-and-so said something to me or because I had a bad day or whatever the case is. And those things are all true. And I'm not suggesting they're not true or significant or anything like that. But they cannot be the reason that you feel the way you feel or that you can't decide how you feel.
Exactly.
And so what we have to do is we have to begin, especially at work, if you're managing, if you're selling, if you're involved in customer service, whatever it is, you get to decide how you feel.
A lot of people are like an echo. Whatever you are pushing out is kind of what you're getting back. So if you're being nice to people, chances are they're kind of being nice back. And if you're being kind of gruff with people, they're probably being a little bit gruff back.
If everybody got up in the morning and sat and did what we just did, thought about their best day ever.
Yeah.
And took a second and really saw it, heard it, and then feel that feeling. It's incredibly important to see it, hear it, and feel it. And then really sit in that for a second and then smile and really feel that feeling and then stop for a second, open their eyes, go back, and then see themselves doing whatever it is they've got to do next.
Yeah.
But smile while they do it. see yourself do it in a different mood, in a different set of feelings, and practice it in your head.
Yeah.
A couple of times, like a movie. Watch it till the end, stop it, rewind it, watch it again, stop it, rewind it. Maybe do it 3 times until when you see it in your head, it actually feels okay.
Absolutely. You had mentioned like a movie. This reminds me, this whole exercise reminds me of a movie. There's a movie that came out back in the 90s called Groundhog Day.
Yes.
Have you seen this movie?
Yes.
Phil Connors on his first day in Puxatawny is literally having like the worst day of his life. And he's treating everybody around him like dirt. And things don't go well because, well, he's not a pleasant guy to be around.
Right.
Everybody else is living the exact same day because he's literally living in a loop the same day. And I read a thing one time that said that he went through this thousands of times. I tried to count it one time. I went through and I was like, okay, well, that's a day and that's a day. And the thing that I thought was fascinating, and I noticed this the very first time I watched the movie, his last day there, he treated everybody so much better. Like the guy in the hallway, from the very first day, he's like, "You think think we'll have an early spring?" And then he guesses like the official first day of spring, and the guy's like, "I think that is the first day of spring." But he's like being sarcastic and not so nice to everybody, rude to the lady downstairs, rude to everybody, rude to the people he works with. His final day in Puxatawny, he's pleasant to everybody. He's nice to everybody. You change your attitude, you literally change the world around you.
Yes.
And I remember the first time I saw that movie, I thought that. And then every time I would watch that movie, I would just think, this is amazing. If you just change the way you treat people, it's amazing how the world treats you better as well. And then somebody put out a book called The Groundhog Day Effect.
Right.
I was like, that's awesome. There's a book about this.
Right. And the idea is really the lesson in that movie is that every day is Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
We're living the same nasty day over and over and over again the way it is.
Yeah.
And life keeps trying to give us the same thing so that we learn exactly what Phil learns in that movie.
Yeah.
That we get to manage our mood. We get to decide who and what we are. We get to choose to be our best version of us or not.
Yeah.
And that every day we get to choose that. What we can, like Phil did, we can blame other people.
Yeah.
We can intellectualize what's going on. We can placate other people. We can just distract ourselves and do something else and just check out. We can do all of those things. But ultimately, the responsibility is on us to make a decision as to what our mood's going to be and who we're going to be. In life, every day we get up and we get another chance to learn Phil's lesson.
Yeah.
It isn't,
And how many times are you going to get kicked in the teeth because of the way you treat other people before you finally realize, man, I'm going to just try it.
See, and that's the silliness of Groundhog Day is they're thinking, who would keep doing that?
Yeah.
Who would keep, why?
Thousands of times.
We do it.
Yeah.
We get up thousands of days in a row before we figure this out.
Yeah.
That's kind of the lesson here is that he is us.
He is.
Yeah, he is us. And at the end, there was just Phil's recognition that he could decide who he was and he could be a good person. And in doing that, he took responsibility for the world around him.
Yeah.
Rather than it wasn't just about Phil anymore.
Yeah.
He all of a sudden stepped into this place where he realized the impact he was having and what he could do and how far the impact of a smile or a meal, how far that ripples out into the world. And the moment he took that in and actually learned that lesson, he changed everything.
Exactly. And I think it's a fascinating thing. If somebody listening is saying, I need help changing some things in my life to maybe get myself to a better place. They want to be more like the Phil at the end of the movie. And
they want to learn Phil's lesson.
Yeah. I think hypnosis could be a really good thing for them. And if they would like your assistance in that, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, just interestingly enough, that whole Groundhog movie is it's just a long hypnosis to teach the very lesson we're talking about.
Yeah.
But if you're really interested in learning that lesson, you can see us on the net at SiouxFallsHypnosis.com. You can call directly at 605-702-6691. You can find us on Facebook or TikTok at Sioux Falls Hypnosis.
Very nice. And this program that you're listening to right now is a radio program that's on Sunny Radio each week. But then we've got longer versions like this one where there's so much more that we want to say that we don't have room to squeeze in on the radio. This podcast, depending on where you're listening to it, you can find all of the episodes very easily in order at SiouxFallsPodcast.com. And again, reach out directly to Dr. Dan on his website, SiouxFallsHypnosis.com.